and I wasn't buying what they were selling me.
Huh, baby? Time to leave a little kitty?
I blew through this bitch. Well, hello. Welcome back to my channel. Just Shauna here to talk about some friggin' books that I have read recently. I have 4 to talk about today, and honestly, a couple of them I don't have that much to say about, so this might actually be a quicker video, and we'll just get right into it with the first book, Faebound by Saara El-Arifi. This is the Goldsboro edition. So pretty. So I got this last month because it's for the Goldsboro, like, SFF, or what, membership or subscription, whatever. Beautiful color map, which I don't think matches the facts in the book, I will say. There were times where they were talking about like places and like how long it took to go from place A to place B, and then from place like B to place C, but then later they would say it and it was like way quicker, and I was like, wait, what? Huh? Or like from here to here was X amount of time, but then from here to here was even longer, and I'm like, that's right next to each other. How is that longer to get there? So I don't know if I was just like reading it, like I'm understanding it incorrectly, or if the map is actually kind of incorrect, but I just stopped looking at the map because it was fucking confusing me. But this is so pretty. And I was really hoping I was going to enjoy this because, as you may know, Saara El-Arifi is the author of the Ending Fire trilogy, which thus far I have fucking loved. Book 1 and book 2 both got 5 stars. Love it so much. And that's her debut series. So I was like, okay, a new series from her. I hope I enjoy it. And I hope that I can have another auto by author on my list, because currently I only have 2. And I will say, spoiler alert, I did really enjoy this. Not 5 stars, but quite enjoyed. And we'll see as, like, with the sequel to this one, if the sequel to this one is at least as good as a time as the first one, then I think that would solidify, and especially if with the Ending Fire, book 3 of that trilogy that's coming out this year, if she sticks the landing with that and it's another fucking 5 star, or at least 4.5, I auto by author, I think, for sure. But yeah, this one is another adult work by her, and this one, as you may imagine, has some fae in it. The overall premise is we are following 2 sisters, and they're both elves. In this world, there once were elves, fae, and humans. And there are different gods, each god, like, for each race of creature. But there are no more fae, and there are no more humans. So we have the elves, and the elves are in these different kind of areas, regions, kingdoms, and they're fighting. They're just fucking fighting all the time. It's called, like, the Forever War or some shit. It's going on constantly. It's just a never-ending war over this particular mineral that's like this magical, mystical thing that provides like light, and it can like grow crops and things, and they're just always fighting for it. And to be vague, in the beginning of the book, something happens where one of our characters, our main characters, is getting exiled, and things go from there. So overall, this was definitely a page turner for me. My average days to read is 7 days to read a book. And a lot of times, you know, a little bit thicker adult fantasy can take me like 9 to 14 days. This one took me, I think, 3. I blew through this bitch. I started it like early because Elle and I were going to buddy read it together. And she was like, probably more like closer to the publication date, which, by the way, it's getting published on January 18th. So next week, next like Thursday or some shit? But yeah, so Elle was like, oh, I'm going to pick it up closer to publication time. But like Elle tends to read way faster than me. So I was like, I'll pick it up a little early. By the time she starts it, like, she'll probably catch up to me. Yeah, then I read it in 3 days. Oops. Sorry, Elle. But yeah, I got pretty engrossed in the story, like right around 10% in, and it really kept my interest all the way until the very end. Quite enjoyed the characters. That is something I was telling Elle, like the Ending Fire trilogy, the characters are fine. So like I'm not super into the characters in that one. I like the characters in this more than I like the characters in the Ending Fire trilogy. And then the world was also really cool. I enjoyed it. We have some lore, some history, some mythology, And that is what I fucking love about the Ending Fire trilogy. So I was very excited to see, like, okay, that wasn't just a one-time thing that Saara El-Arifi does. Like, she's about the lore and the mythology and the history, and I am here for it. I did have a couple of small qualms with the romances in this book. There's a few different romances, and with a few plot points that felt a little contrived and predictable. There was quite a bit that was fairly predictable. Not everything. I didn't, like, predict every single thing that happened. There was a few things that caught me off guard that I was like, oh shit, okay. And Saara El-Arifi once again wrote a world that is incredibly queer normative, which is nice. We have sapphic romances going on in here. We once again have trans characters, and again, it's just queer normative across the board. It's very normal, fine, accepted for people to be trans. It's not like a thing. It's just a way of the world, which I really enjoyed. And also no prejudice based on skin color. And there is some like xenophobia, some prejudice like within the elves, like they're fucking in an ongoing war constantly. So they really, again, the xenophobia of like, well, you're from over there, we don't like you. There is some of that going on for sure. And yeah, for the characters, again, like I said, I really enjoyed them. Yirin and Lettel, I liked them both. I have seen reviews since I wrote my review. I went and looked at other people's just to kind of see what people were saying. And I see some people disliking one or the other. Some people were like, Yirin was so annoying. And some people were like, Lettel sucks. I hated being in her perspective. I liked both of them. I thought they were fine. I thought they were interesting characters and like who had their own voices. And the side characters were cool too. There was one that I think was my favorite, Golan. Golan was my favorite side character, I believe. Or maybe Pila. I like Pila a lot also. And yeah, for the romances, I did find them like generally enjoyable. I didn't hate the romances at all, but I just couldn't really buy the deep, passionate, important love that we were being told was happening because like these characters didn't know each other long enough. It wasn't like insta love, but it was like jump the gun to deep soulmate, passionate love. And I wasn't buying what they were selling me. Once again, the plot kept my interest often enough throughout, consistently, etc. The world building elements were cool, the lore was cool, but I could feel the author's hand kind of forcing things a bit too much in certain places. So that is why I brought my rating like down a little bit. So I ended up giving this a 4. I feel like sometimes I want to give it a 4.25 or a 4.5 because of my just overall enjoyment with it. But those romance things and a couple of the plot things, like they did just kind of bug me. So yeah, would recommend to my friends who perhaps DNF'd the final Strife. Looking at you, Robin. Maybe try this one. Maybe you'll like this one more. I don't know. I feel like it will connect with a lot more people than the final Strife. I don't know what it is because I fucking love the final Strife. I think it is just so many people are way more character driven than I am. And so when they don't like the characters or find them really annoying, they're like, I'm out. Whereas I'm kind of like, I mean, they're fine. Like, yeah, and one of them's kind of annoying sometimes, but like, I just love the other stuff so much. Next, I finally picked up Lore Olympus Volume 4 by Rachel Smythe. And I mean, it's, you know, Hades Persephone reimagining graphic novel with just the cutest effing artwork ever. This one just, it felt a little like fluff to me, I guess. I don't personally feel like all that much actually happened. Like some stuff happened, but not really to me. So that's really all I have to say about this. I enjoy this series still. I ended up giving this one 3.25 stars. So it was cool. It was solid, but it was just nothing really happened to me. The next one that I completed, I also, sorry, hold on. God, my freaking eye. It just won't stop watering. It doesn't hurt or anything. It doesn't feel like there's anything in it. It's just nonstop watering. You gonna come up here, baby? Come on. Come on. Hi. Say hi. Oh, what? Oh, what? Oh, you're right on my mic. Say hi. Are you so cute? She likes to sit just like this. Or on my lap, which is where she's going now. You wanna sit on my lap? With your little curly tail? Hi, baby. Can you sit down? Okay. Anyway, A Gentleman in Moscow by Amor Towles. Amor Towles? I'm not sure. This is my first book by this author. It's historical fiction, and it's about this guy after like the revolution in Russia, and he gets sentenced to basically house arrest, but he's living in a hotel. So it's his years spent living in like captivity, basically, like he can't leave the hotel ever. And just, you know, looking for human connection, basically, and like just interactions with people and purpose and like meaning in his life amidst, you know, what he's going through. Need more lip gloss. So this one I was listening to on audiobook, and methinks that wasn't the best bet for this book. I'm not like a huge audiobook reader. I have been picking them up more frequently, but usually only with like nonfiction or like contemporary I can do also, or like rereads of fantasy books sometimes I can do. You want back up? Okay, come on. Literally just did it. There you go. Where are you going? What are you doing, baby? Why are you climbing on me? Anyway, and I was like, oh, historical fiction, like that could be good for audio. Did not realize this book apparently has footnotes. Did not know that the entire time I was listening to it. And then upon writing my review, writing down my notes, I went and looked at reviews and I saw people talking about the footnotes. And I'm like, oh, that makes more fucking sense, because I just don't think the footnotes translate very well to audio. And I think that really hindered my experience, for sure. Because, like, there were times where suddenly the narrative felt really, like, meandering and random. And I was like, how the fuck did we get here? What are we talking about? Pretty sure that was the footnotes. I just wasn't able to tell because it was on audio and there wasn't, you know, oh, footnote 1 or anything. Because that would be weird, too. But, yeah, I ended up, like, it never, like, was connecting with me. It was never grabbing my interest. But, like, the whole time I was like, I can tell that there's, like, a cool story happening here. And there were little moments that, like, I was, like, catching that was like, oh, that was, like, a nice moment. Or that was, like, a cool part of the story and whatever. And, like, towards the end, too, the ending, like, oh, that's cool. But, yeah, so many times where it felt so disjointed. And I'm pretty sure that is why. So I ended up giving this 3.5 stars, which is still, like, solid. And that's mostly just because of what I said, where I could tell, like, I know there's, like, a cool story that I'm getting, but it's so, like, helter-skelter, kind of. And I am definitely interested to read more from this author because of that. But ultimately, my reading experience with this one it wasn't the best.
Huh, baby? You want to tell the people?
You little purrs. Why are you climbing? What are you doing? Can you not? Can you get blood out of my face? Lily, get out of here. What the fuck are you doing? She's just like full of piss and vinegar climbing on everything. And then the most recent one I finished was Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. I bought this sometime last year. I think Petrick was who I heard talking about it. Petrick Leo. And it's self-published and it just sounded cool. And also this cover art is by Felix Ortiz and like just so cool. I love this cover art. And the rest of the series cover art is also really cool, which is why I was hoping to love this, but I did not. I didn't hate it. I wasn't like, ugh, this is a bad book or a bad time. I didn't have a bad time reading it. And I was really enjoying the first like 20 to 40%. I was into it. I was getting very gripped by the story. The initial introductions to two of the characters, to Whispering Blade and Emerald Wind. And they were cool. And like the first handful of action scenes they like worked well for me. I was like watching, I was like, oh yeah, it felt very cinematic. But then it just started to get very repetitive. And again, once posting my review, I went and looked at other reviews just to see what other people were what the vibe was. And someone said, you know, sometimes we can be character-driven readers or plot-driven readers, but this was an action-driven book, and that it was for me as well. I think it would be a really cool movie, probably. Like, as a movie, Because I do love a good, like, action movie sometimes that, like, maybe doesn't have very much else going on. Like, it's, like, kind of a whatever plot. The characters are cool, I guess, but there's just, like, badass action. I can get behind that. But in a book, I need a little more than that, I guess. And I didn't feel like we, I don't know, got to know all the characters as well as I would have liked either. And the ending, for sure, felt quite rushed. Like, it just was like, bam, 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 okay, we're done. And I just didn't particularly care for the ending. The big, like, plot is there's a little boy that he has a mission of killing the emperor. And in order to do so, he has to bring back to life these heroes when they die. So, like, some of the heroes, they, like, meet them and they're like, you gotta die so I can bring you back and you can be bound to me. So, like, they have to be killed. And then he brings them back, and, like, our mission is go kill the emperor. Like, all in all, it was a good start, and if you are a more action-driven reader than me, you'll probably enjoy this. It just kind of lost me by the end. I ended up giving it 2.5 stars. It was a little bit below middle of the road for me. Definitely not going to continue on with the series. And that is all I have for now.
Huh, Lily? We're done? Oh, look at your little belly. Look at your little belly. Yeah? Are we done?
She's so annoyed. She's like, put me down, God. Let me know if you've read any of these or, like, planning on reading, you know, the one that's coming out. Leave a little emoji down below if you just want to say hey and make your presence known.
Maybe leave a little kitty. Time to leave a little kitty? Oh, you're so cute. I can't even stand it. You're such a cute baby. You're such a cute baby.
As always, thank you so much for your time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.